Welcome to the Piston Fanatic. I'm your host, Dave Dalton, and I'm excited to share my passion and perspective of our Detroit Pistons as we go on this fantastic voyage together. I've been a diehard Piston fan since the days of Dave Bing and Bob Lanier. I've also been the varsity basketball coach of a very successful program in northern Michigan. Well, Piston fans, could you hear it? Could you hear 20,000 people chanting, "Let's go Pistons" at Little Caesars this evening? The Pistons came out with a 118-102 impressive victory over the Chicago Bulls on a back-to-back, and it just was amazing. The crowd was into it. The players talked extensively about how they could feel the energy and how they're so proud to be from a town that supports their team. The excitement just is going to build, and if we are overreacting to 2 wins and a 1-point loss, that's okay because we're fans, and it's fantastic to have a team that had won 17 games last year and only 20 or 23 games if not 2 years prior to that. For us to get a little overexcited is fine because we have a team, and whatever we finish record-wise this year, we're building something great. And Tom Gore said we're not rebuilding, we're building. And all the players, they talk about it all the time. This is just a start, and they all talk about building something and something special. So Cade said it's incredible. We're just getting started, but we're trying to build something. So they've all said that, and tonight it showed up on the court with all the fans, and I think it's just going to keep on getting crazier and crazier the more momentum we get. So a couple things that happened during the game. Our defense, number one, Monty and Troy have preached it, and we hired Dan Burks, a great defensive guy, and our team has, in 3 games, Miami Heat, 103 points. Charlotte Hornets, 99 points on the road. And then tonight at home, we held the Chicago Bulls. Despite 51 points from Zach LaVine, we held them to 102 points. And so, nobody scored over 103 on us. I remember last year that Dwayne Casey said that the 110 is the new 100. So it used to be that if you held a team to 100, you had a great chance of winning. But now in today's NBA, there's so much more scoring. The offenses are so much better that it's, if you held them to 110, you probably are going to win. Well, our Pistons, they don't buy that. They're shutting teams down. And again, we haven't played any of the top teams yet. We're going to get to play Oklahoma City Monday, and I think that they will be one of the top teams this year. But it's still really special. And we had 29 assists tonight, and all the players and Monty and everybody talks about how Monty says he loves the connection that we have, and he loves the way that the team's connected. You can just see the chemistry, and he said nobody's talked about being exhausted after the back-to-back, that the players are all focused. We have some tough, gritty guys. Like I said, after the Charlotte game, we out-rebounded them by 21 points. So we've been dominant on the boards in every game. And tonight, points in the paint, 58-36. Rebounds, we had 53, they had 32. And another place we're killing people is on the bench, and mostly that's behind Alec Burks and Jaden Ivey and Marvin Bagley. Those are the 3 that are really standing out on the bench for us. But it's just so much fun and so exciting. And I will tell you that Jalen Duren, he is incredible. So when we look at all the moves that Monty made, all the moves that Troy Weaver's made since being general manager, I think by far the best one is somehow getting that trade. We traded Milwaukee's 2025 first-round pick, which is going to be late, and we got the 13th pick, and we got Jalen Duren. So he did 2 great things to swing that deal, which I think did involve a lot of luck, but a great maneuvering by Troy. But then to have the wherewithal to draft Jalen Duren, because Jalen Duren is just a freak of nature, and he is exceeding everybody's expectations. And, Cade is the franchise guy, and he is remarkable. But, if you put all 3 games in totality together, Duren's been our best player. Of course, it's because Cade got in foul trouble and only played 24 minutes in the Charlotte game. But Duren has been just unbelievable beast. And I don't be surprised if he comes out of nowhere and makes the Olympic team. that's just a hot take right now that you're hearing from me. I think him and Cade both have a shot. I think there's all those LeBron and Steph and everybody's lining up to play now. But I just think that those two are putting on a show. And we got a ways to go. We got a long ways to go. But we got a chance. Our guys have a chance. Cade's got a chance to get most improved player. Cade's got a chance to make the All-Star game. If he plays like this and our team continues to play like this, anything is possible. Let's go through the box score. I always like to go through the box score I think we talk about each player as we go through the box score, and the box score is not everything, but it is something. So, Sar, he 31 minutes and 3 for 7. So that's all I want from Asar. If Asar goes 3 for 11 every game, so that's under 50%. He was 0 for 2 on threes. We'll take that. But he was 3 for 4 from the line, so we need that. And I think I talked about Duren was 5 for 5. So we need those two guys because there's the two that might get fouled quite a bit, but might struggle from the line. But he had 12 rebounds. And that is just, again, for a 6'6" guy, is incredible. It's not a fluke. And he had 5 assists, which is awesome. And, it's harder to get assists. He doesn't touch the ball that much. He doesn't have the ball. I mean, Cade has the ball in his hands all the time. And then Ivy and Killian have the ball in their hands all the time. Way more than Asar does. And he still got 5 assists. He had 2 turnovers, which isn't bad for 5 assists, 9 points. So another big game. He did... he guarded Levine part of the time. So Levine had 51. But, I watched, even at the beginning of the game, Levine made shots on Sar. He made shots on Killian. He made shots on Cade. He made a shot over Jaden Ivey. He made and one over Bagley. And so he gave everybody a turn, and he just was unstoppable tonight. DeRozan had 20, and he's a really good player, but he only shot 7 for 14, which is a great percentage. But Asar, and Monty said he just does stuff to make you win, and he said we're not, putting any kind of ceiling on him, and he just comes in there and works, and he's not afraid of anything, and he's not afraid to, if he doesn't know something, he just asks and he just keeps on trying. Another good game for Stu, 34 minutes, 6 for 14, not a great percentage, 0 for 3 on threes, 2 for 3 from the line, but 9 rebounds, 2 turnovers, 14 points. A good game. We'll take that. It's not as good as his 2 prior games, but it's still a solid performance from Stu. Duren, though, this is stuff, you can't make this stuff up. 33 minutes, 9 for 11. He's shooting 80% for the season for 3 games, but he's shooting 80%. He goes 9 for 11 like every night, seems like. But again, the 5 for 5 on free throws is big for him. His shot's not that bad. I'm real confident his shot improved gradually last year. He had 6 offensive rebounds, which nobody gets that. And some of these teams, so Chicago doesn't really have a great post player. Vucevic is not a great athlete, and he's not that big, and they don't have another big that's really, they bring Drummond in off the bench, but he doesn't play that much. But we just dominated the boards. Like I said, we rebounded by over 20, but Duren has 6 offensive rebounds, and nobody does that hardly in the NBA. And he goes in there and he battles. He's physical. He tells his teammates, his other post players, be physical on those guys. They don't like people being physical, and he is. He just puts a body. He makes it work, makes everybody work for him, and he even, I think, creates opportunities for other players on our team to get rebounds because he just demands so much attention in there. But here's the thing, 5 assists. He's a post player, and we're just starting to, touch his potential. He's had 4 or 5 assists, I think, in the other 2 games. He is an incredible passer. There was a great play. My favorite play of the game was Cade does the pick and roll with Duren, the high pick and roll, which is, I think, their best offense, especially if they have good spacers out there. But then he gets it on the short roll, and he dumps it to Asar for a dunk. It just went bang, 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 and Duren just has that vision and that feel, and he can make the pass so quickly. So, like I said, he's going to be an all-star. He's going to be an all-star. There's not that many centers. Not nobody that that can do what he does. Well, I guess in the Western, there's Embiid and there's Jokic, and those guys are really good. So I guess he's not going to make it over those guys, but who else is there better than he is? I guess. Cade, 39 minutes, almost 40 minutes. He was 9 for 19, which is really good. Only 1 for 4 on threes, which he's been better, but he was 6 for 7 from the line, and it was so great to see him get 7 free throw attempts. So that's awesome. 4 rebounds, 10 assists, and first play of the game, they come down the court, and Cade makes a sweet pass to Duren. So Duren should have had more than 23 points. He had 23 points, but he could have easily had more. And Duren had 2 blocks and only 1 turnover, but he missed the layup. Cade made a beautiful pass to him, and he missed the easy shot. But again, 9 for 11, so he only missed 2 shots the whole game. But Cade ended up with 25 points and those 10 assists. He did have 6 turnovers, which, again, if he handles the ball that much, he needs to keep it down to 3 and maybe 4 on some days. But he needs to. I want to see him average about 3. Killian had a good game, 23 minutes, 2 for 5, and 2 for 3 on threes. So if he's 2 for 5 and 2 for 3 on threes, he's playable. The first games, with his shooting percentages and what he's done. So we'll see. People, when I'm critical of Killian or Stu or whatever, when I talk about things that they can't do, I want them to do their best. I want them to play great. I would like to see him. I just know that if you got a guy guys that are out there chucking up threes and they're shooting 0 for 6, then it's not conducive to winning basketball. And so I want our team to win. So, but he had 1 rebound, 4 assists, only 1 turnover, 6 points. But he was +7. Last game he was, I think, the only guy in minus, but he was -8. But he played a good, solid game tonight. Burks, and he has been, our third star after Cade and Duren. He's, bringing that off the bench. And our bench, once again, like I said, we killed them in bench points, 41-19, and we've been doing it every night. And so that's just. Burks is the leader of that bench, 6 for 12 and 6 for 10 on threes. So he made all his shots were on threes, and that he brings us that spacing. And without Bogey in there, it makes a big difference. Bogey would be starting, and he would be really spacing. He's really lethal. But Burks has been picking up the slack. And Motown Marvin Bagley had only played 15 minutes again, and his limited minutes, he has been marvelous. And he had 5 for 8, 1 for 1 on threes. Cade got doubled and kicked it out to Marvin, wide open for a 3, and he nailed it. 6 rebounds in 15 minutes. That's sensational. 11 points. He's +10. Ivy had a good game. He only played 22 minutes, and I'd like to see him play over 25 and at least 28 minutes a game, really, and get him going. But we'll see what happens. He was 1 for 2 on threes. He hit a big one when the game was still close at the end of the third quarter at the buzzer. He nailed the 3, which was huge for us. He had 3 assists and 7 points. He drives. He looks to pass. He's unselfish. So he's, the first game he appeared to be selfish. He was just a little out of control. But Joe Harris, 1 for 2 on threes and only 10 minutes. I heard a Piston podcaster, and it just made me just shake my head. He was, in the first game, Ivy was bad, which Ivy was bad the first game. There's no other word you can use. But he said how bad the other bad person was Harris. And Harris played like 10 or 11 minutes, and he was 0 for 2. And he's not going to get a lot of shots. He's going to get, a couple, 2 or 3 threes, and if he does like he did tonight and is 1 out of 2, that's huge. But he's not going to make them all every night. And he's not a great defensive player. It's just what he's going to do. He's going to play 10 to 15 minutes, but that if he has 0 for 2, that's not a bad night. He's not, I don't know. It just bothered me that guy said that. But anyway, Sasser only played 6 minutes, and he's 1 for 2 on his shooting, and had 3 rebounds and 1 assist in 10 minutes. So, there's an argument for that guy to play more, but who's to argue with what Monty's doing? So, Tom Gore spoke. He said, I told you, he said, we're not rebuilding, we're building. And he said, we got the players now. And well, a little bit of ego there, Tom. He talks about how, players shouldn't put limits on themselves, and how he was a little kid growing up in Flint and now he's a millionaire. And, you know, so that was kind of his message to the team, that they shouldn't put limits on themselves, and you should want to outperform, what people expect of you. And the Pistons are doing it right now, and it is rare. I talked about it, it's rare for teams to be good defensive teams when they're this young, but they're proving that theory wrong. And again, it remains to be seen. Oklahoma City is going to be a huge test on Monday. Duren, he passed LeBron for the most double doubles by a teenager, and he's got until I forget, sometime late middle to end of November before I think is his birthday, I think. And it was a great play tonight when Asar got a steal and Duren ran the floor and got a dunk, and it was cool to see Cade take the ball to the basket again. They don't have much rim protection, so it was really good that we took the ball at them into the post. And it's cool to see Duren. Him and Stu got that high-low. Duren gets the ball up at the top, and Stu gets that post up right in front of the rim and shoots that little jump hook, which has been real effective so far this year. And, the Pistons, they shot 52%, which is awesome, 43% on threes. And, of course, when Burks is 6 for 10, that really helps your three-point percentage. And, that's what, like I said, Bogey did that for us last year. Our three-point percentage wouldn't have been close to what it was, except Bogey. But our free throw percentage, 80%. And, again, Cade was 6 for 7. And so that was big, but it's still really big if Asar can be 3 for 4 and Duren can be 5 for 5. So that, that's a big part of what we need. But we're playing the Thunder. I talked to you about the Thunder. They've got it going, man. They're Stan Presti. This is where Troy came from and where he worked for, I don't know if he was there 10 years or whatever, and so he's watched how they operate. And I think they have their best run organization in the NBA, and the way they draft and the way they accumulate draft picks. And they've had some good players and lots of cap space, and they made great use of that. But the getting the Paul George deal where they got to trade Paul George for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and a whole bunch of draft picks, that really set them up. And then they made a lot of great moves, making trades to other teams just to take on bad money, and they would get first-round draft picks. But anyway, we're gonna get to see them play, and I hoping, you never know though. They are playing Sunday, so we have tomorrow off, but they're gonna be playing at 3:30 against Denver, so that's gonna be a big game for them, and I think they're gonna really get jacked up. And sometimes after you play a great team, you come back and you have to play the Pistons, and except they're gonna be playing at home. So that's the downside. If we were playing at our place, it'd really be an advantage, I think, psychologically. But we're going to be playing there. So, but they still have to play back to back, and we're not playing back to back, so that is in our favor. But I'm still excited to see. I hope Asar gets to be on Shai most of the game, and it's going to be fun seeing Chet play against Duren, or Duren play against Chet, and see if he can take it to him. Chet's really great at blocking shots, and he's got long arms like Mr. Fantastic, if you watch Marvel Comics. But anyway, it's a great time to be a Piston. Like I said, jump on the bandwagon. Tell your friends to listen to this podcast, please. And I'm excited I get to go to the game on Wednesday against Portland, and I'm going to be also going to the game on the next Sunday when they play the Phoenix Suns. So Monty's old team. But let's be excited about our team, be happy, and if you want to overreact and be pumped up, that's fine. There's signs that this can be sustained. When you rebound and play defense like we do, you have a chance. So anyway, if you're listening and watching on YouTube, please subscribe, leave a thumbs up, And if you're watching on Spotify or listening on Spotify, I should say, please leave a 5-star review. And I thank you very much for listening. It's such a fun year already. And let's go Pistons.